Welcome, everyone, to Influential Leadership Tips. I'm John Hadley.
And I'm Dave Miller. You know, something I wanted to share today is a situation I think people find themselves in, John, where you're in a meeting, it's a meeting you're running, maybe there's people even more senior than you in the meeting, and the meeting kind of goes off track. We're not zeroing in on the issues that we need to be talking about. Maybe someone's asking questions prematurely. In fact, I'll talk about that situation. I was in a meeting in a corporate situation, and one of my clients was running the meeting, and there was a senior person there that was asking a lot of questions prematurely. Oh, here comes Roxy. And she was trying to play devil's advocate the whole time, and asking questions that we were going to get to in a few minutes. And this person was afraid, and when I debriefed afterwards, to do anything to get the meeting on track. She kind of responded to the questions. We didn't get through the meeting. Hey, Roxy. And we got through about half the material. So it was really kind of a wasted meeting in that there was some good discussion, but we're going to have further meetings to get resolution. So we just said, well, what else could you have done to maybe get that meeting on track? And one of the things I suggested was what I call a redirection. So, imagine a senior person asking you questions that you're going to get to, but you haven't finished laying out kind of the foundation of the meeting yet. So one way is to just say, hey, these are really great questions. So you kind of meet them where they are. Mm-hmm. These are really great questions. Give me 10 minutes to lay this out for you, and we'll get to those. Would that be okay?
That's a great technique. And so often we feel intimidated by that senior person in the room that we're hesitant to do anything. But if you have something like that kind of in your toolbox that you've thought about before, it becomes so much easier.
Exactly. And kind of the first piece of that redirection is what I call a softening statement, where mm-hmm. you're showing that, hey, I'm not evading your question. I'm not trying to dodge them. These are great questions. You can even say, yeah, the short answer is yes. And you do the redirection then. Mm-hmm. Let me lay this out first, and we'll get into that in more detail. That's another way you could do it. I saw a situation yesterday in another meeting where a person used a different technique. The meeting was going off track. Discussions were not on point. And he basically said, well, listen, we have just 30 minutes left to talk about this. And here are the issues I think we need to decide before we leave. So he brought this element of we have limited time, let's get focused. And that got everyone right in lockstep. Mm-hmm. That's another technique. And I'm sure there's lots of others. When you have senior people in the meeting, it does take some courage. But you would be surprised at how compliant they can be if you do this right.
Right. Yeah, it's so much. And sometimes if you just say, look, this isn't the time to discuss that. It's like really, it's abrasive. It's like it almost comes across challenging or attacking, which can actually take you further off track. So having something like you're talking about that softens it, that's really powerful.
Yeah. So again, it's kind of the softening, validating piece, the redirection, and then moving that. And with these, there's the promise we're going to get to what you want to get to. Mm-hmm. So we're still following our rule of paying attention to tension. Now, there might be situations where you do reorganize the meeting for it. If something comes up that's really urgent, there's a lot of people that feel the same way. You say, okay, how about this? Let's take a minute and let's address this, because until we address it, no one's going to be able to relax and go with the flow. So, there's different strategies in different situations, but I wanted to just put this redirection tool out there for our folks out there that are viewers.
I like it. So What would you suggest people do to kind of think about this over the next week?
Well, I think, first you can reflect on situations that you've either witnessed or firsthand, or you've been a participant in a meeting where that was or was not used as a learning vehicle. But the key is to think through meetings. And we all know the people that tend to take the meetings off track. They like to talk. That's usually a clue. They offer a lot of great stuff, but they can offer a lot of superfluous things too. And that's a good chance to use that. So if you're struggling with a meeting that's our set of meetings, a project team meeting, for example, that tends to get off track, you can tell people are getting bored, we don't get to resolution, think about using this tool. So again, practice is the best way. Find ways to do it, try it out, see what kind of feedback you get, and you'll like it. It'll be like a new toy. So that's my tip, and we're going to look forward to talking to you next week.
And until then, be influential.